The forest was silent, the air heavy with an ancient wisdom. A gentle breeze swayed the towering trees. In the clearing, I sat cross-legged, gazing at the stillness. The early morning sun cast golden rays. A figure appeared, walking with a tranquility that defied time. His serene gaze met mine, infinite yet intimate. "Buddha," I whispered, my voice trembling like a reed in the wind. He acknowledged me with a gentle nod. He sat across from me, the earth welcoming him without hesitation. His presence was as profound as silence. "You have questions," he said, his voice like water over smooth stones. I nodded, words caught in my throat. The human mind, I managed, is restless, tangled in its own web. How does one untangle the infinite threads? Buddha closed his eyes, as if drawing wisdom from the universe. The self exists because of the body, the mind, and the senses. Yet it is none of them. Awareness is the channel to guide it. I listened, each word like a seed planting itself in the soil of my thoughts. He continued, unhurried. "Do not fight the wandering," he said. "Observe it, understand it. Through acceptance, the chaos can transform." "But acceptance feels like surrender," I interjected, struggling with the paradox. The Buddha picked up a small stone and held it in his palm. "This stone," he said, "clings to the earth not by its will, but by its nature. It is the foundation of wise action." His words created a bridge, connecting understanding and confusion. I felt suspended between what was known and unknown. "Consider the lotus," he said, gesturing to the pond nearby. "Its roots are in mud, yet it blooms. The mud does not bind it, but nourishes its growth. Such is the relationship between suffering and wisdom." I glanced at the pond, the image etching itself into my mind. A profound stillness enveloped me. But how does one face suffering without being consumed by it? I asked, the question heavy with vulnerability. The Buddha rose, his movements as fluid as water flowing over stones. "Let us return," he said. "Detachment is not indifference." "Then what is detachment?" I pressed, eager to grasp the elusive concept. He held a moment of silence before answering. "Detachment is a deep engagement without attachment to the outcome. It is both freedom and connection." His paradoxical words stirred a resonance within me, like a chord struck on an ancient instrument. I remained silent. "The self seeks permanence," he said, breaking the stillness. "Yet, nothing is permanent. Clinging to impermanence creates suffering." The disciples murmured among themselves, their minds eager yet uncertain. "Why the mountains, Master?" Ananda asked, stepping forward with curiosity shining in his eyes. "The self is like a mirage," he answered, his tone steady. "It exists, yet when sought, it vanishes. Why seek it then?" I asked, caught in the loop of reasoning. His eyes glimmered, as if aware of my turmoil. "To seek the self is to see through it," he replied. "In seeing through it, you find liberation." The sun climbed higher, warming the clearing, as if nature itself leaned into his words. Time seemed to dissolve. "Freedom," I repeated, the word tasting foreign yet familiar. But freedom feels unattainable in the face of life's demands. The disciples nodded, absorbing the words though their minds remained restless. Step by step, they followed their guide, the journey revealing itself as a lesson in patience. "It lies in the center of engagement," his statement rippled through me, expanding like a drop in still water. My doubts shifted, but did not disappear. "The journey is not about extinguishing doubt," he said, as if reading my silence. "It is about befriending it." His words felt like an embrace, softening the rigidity of my thoughts. I inhaled deeply, the air rich with clarity. "You carry wisdom," he said, his gaze resting on me. "But wisdom, like fire, needs kindling to keep alive." "What kindling do I need?" I asked, my curiosity reignited. His eyes glimmered, filled with boundless understanding. Compassion, he replied simply. Without compassion, wisdom becomes cold, like a sun that does not warm. His answer struck a chord within me, echoing through the chambers of my being. Compassion felt simultaneously simple and vast, but compassion can feel like a burden, I admitted, my vulnerability spilling forth. How does one sustain it? Compassion is not born of effort, he said. It arises naturally when you see the unity in all beings. The breeze shifted, carrying the scent of blossoms. His words felt like petals falling into my consciousness. Delicate yet transformative. The unity, I repeated, allowing the concept to settle. But how does one perceive unity in a fragmented world? Buddha leaned forward slightly, as if bridging the distance between our understandings. Unity is not something to perceive, he said, it is something to remember. Like the sky remembered behind the clouds. His metaphor illuminated a path I had not seen. The clearing seemed to expand, the boundaries between us dissolving. I felt neither separate nor entirely the same. The path is within you, he said, rising slowly. Each step you take, you create and discover simultaneously. I rose as well, my body lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. His presence remained, though his figure receded. Thank you, I said, though the words felt inadequate. He turned, offering a final smile, before vanishing into the forest. The sun climbed higher, casting its light over the clearing. Alone again, I felt the silence, but it was transformed. The forest seemed alive, each leaf whispering the echoes of our conversation. My mind swirled, yet my heart stood still. I walked away, each step a paradox of fullness and emptiness. The journey had begun, though it had no end. Another day, another dawn, and the forest whispered ancient secrets to those who listened. Its silence felt alive. I found myself drawn back to the clearing, as if it beckoned with an unseen force. The air was still. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. I sat, absorbing the serenity. A figure emerged once again, his movement seamless with the rhythm of the forest. Buddha's presence filled the space. This time, he carried a staff, its wood aged and smooth. It tapped gently against the earth as he approached. You return, Buddha said, his voice steady as the earth beneath us. I nodded, unable to contain my curiosity. Questions seem endless, I admitted, the words slipping out. Each answer feels like a step forward but creates new questions. Such is the nature of the human mind, he said. To question is to seek, and seeking is endless. But does seeking not imply dissatisfaction? I asked, unsettled by the thought. He smiled, his staff resting beside him. Dissatisfaction arises from expectation, he replied. To seek without expectation is to explore. Exploration births understanding, not dissatisfaction. I considered his words, their simplicity masking profound depths. His gaze held me, grounding yet freeing in its intensity. You sought me, he continued. What do you seek now? His question seemed both gentle and piercing, cutting through pretense. I seek peace, I said, the answer trembling in its sincerity. Buddha nodded, as if he already knew my truth. Peace is not a destination, he said, his tone unwavering. It is a state of being, cultivated moment by moment. But the world feels chaotic, I protested. Frustration bubbling. How can peace exist amid endless turbulence? Buddha raised his staff, pointing to the wind stirring the leaves. The wind does not disturb the root, he said. Peace is the root, he added. Though the winds of life may stir, the root remains grounded, unshaken. His metaphor resonated, yet I struggled to grasp its application. But how does one nurture this root? I asked. Through mindfulness, he said. To be mindful is to anchor oneself in the present, the only moment that truly exists. Yet the present feels fleeting, I countered. chasing the elusive concept. Buddha leaned forward slightly, his gaze unwavering. Fleeting because the mind clings to past and future, he explained. The present only flees when you turn away. His response stirred something within me, a recognition of my own habits. I felt the weight of my wandering thoughts. How does one break free from clinging? I asked, desperate for guidance. Buddha smiled, his patience endless. Freedom lies in detachment, he said. To observe without grasping, to engage without owning, is to free oneself. But is detachment not cold? I questioned, fearing indifference. Buddha shook his head, his expression gentle yet firm. Detachment is warmth, he replied. It allows the heart to open, unhindered by fear or possession. His paradoxical wisdom once again left me suspended, caught between doubt and understanding. I inhaled, seeking clarity in his words. You carry much weight, he said, his voice softening. Lay it down. The path is lighter without unnecessary burdens, but how does one lay down such weight? I asked, the thought feeling impossible. Buddha lifted his staff. The weight is carried in the mind, not the hands, he said. Release the mind, and the hands will follow. I closed my eyes, his words weaving through the labyrinth of my thoughts. The air felt heavier, yet lighter. You carry a staff, I remarked, opening my eyes. Is it not a burden? Buddha glanced at the aged wood. The staff is a tool, not a burden, he said. It serves me, but I do not cling to it. His simple statement held profound implications, each word settling into the soil of my consciousness. I nodded, absorbing his lesson. The self, I began, hesitating, feels heavy with identity, history, and dreams. How does one lighten this weight? Buddha's gaze grew distant, as if peering into infinite realms. The self is heavy because it clings to impermanence, he said. To lighten the self is to release what is impermanent, knowing it was never truly yours to hold. But does that not create emptiness? I asked, apprehensive of losing identity. Buddha shook his head, his expression serene. Emptiness is not loss, he said. It is space, open and infinite, ready to receive what is true. His answer struck a chord, resonating through the chambers of my being. The forest felt alive with his wisdom. The path ahead is not about adding, he continued. It is about shedding, clearing the space for clarity to emerge. I nodded, my heart simultaneously lightened and burdened by his words. His gaze held infinite patience, waiting for my questions, but clarity seems distant, I admitted. Vulnerability spilling forth. How does one find clarity in the haze of existence? Clarity is found through simplicity, he said. Simplify your thoughts, your actions, your attachments. Through simplicity, clarity unfolds. His words painted a picture of a path less traveled, unburdened by complexities. I felt an urge to begin. The journey, Buddha said, breaking the silence, is not marked by footsteps. It is marked by moments, each one a step. The sun climbed higher, casting light and shadow in dynamic dance. The forest seemed to breathe, alive with timeless energy. I glanced at Buddha, his figure grounded and yet transcendent. Thank you, I said. Though the words felt insufficient, Buddha rose, his staff tapping gently against the earth. The path is yours, he said, his presence lingering. With that, he turned and walked away, his figure merging with the forest. The clearing remained, yet it felt transformed. I stood, the weight of questions balanced by the lightness of answers. Each step I took felt more deliberate. The forest seemed to hum, each leaf carrying echoes of our exchange. The journey continued, though its destination remained unseen. Another day, another encounter, and the forest seemed to hum with an energy that transcended time. Its stillness beckoned. I ventured to the clearing once more, its familiarity growing yet remaining mysterious. The earth welcomed my footsteps. Soft and steady, sunlight streamed through the trees, creating intricate patterns of shadow and light. I sat, sensing the serenity enveloping the space. Buddha emerged again, his movements flowing as if guided by the rhythms of the earth. His presence felt eternal, this time. His hands were empty, yet they seemed to hold the weight of countless lifetimes. He approached, unhurried. "You return," Buddha said, his voice resonating with compassion and wisdom. I nodded, unable to mask the questions within me. "Questions persist," I said, my voice breaking the silence. "Though answers bring clarity, new uncertainties emerge like waves upon the shore." Buddha smiled gently, his gaze soft yet piercing. "Questions are the essence of growth," he said. "Embrace them without fear." "But questions often lead to doubt," I admitted, unease seeping into my words. Buddha tilted his head slightly, as if considering. "Doubt is not the enemy," he said. "It is the companion of curiosity, the shadow of seeking. Befriend it." His perspective shifted something within me, a subtle yet profound resonance. I listened, eager to grasp his wisdom. "You seek certainty," he continued. "Yet certainty often limits exploration. True wisdom lies in embracing the fluidity of understanding." "But fluidity feels unstable," I countered, struggling with the concept. Buddha nodded, his expression unshaken by my resistance. "Stability does not come from rigidity," he explained. "It arises from adaptability, the ability to flow with the currents of life." His words mirrored the movement of the breeze. Light yet powerful. I absorbed them, their meaning settling slowly. "You fear instability," he said, addressing the heart of my concern. "But in fearing instability, you block the growth it offers." I inhaled deeply, his words echoing through my thoughts. The forest seemed to whisper its agreement, its wisdom timeless. "Consider the bamboo," Buddha said, gesturing toward the grove nearby. "It bends in the wind, yet it does not break. The strength of bamboo lies in its flexibility, not its rigidity. Such is the nature of resilience," he added. The image etched itself into my mind, a metaphor tangible yet profound. I felt both strengthened and softened by it. "But resilience feels exhausting," I admitted. "Vulnerability spilling forth. How does one sustain it amid life's challenges?" Buddha's gaze softened, his presence radiating compassion. "Resilience does not come from endless effort," he said. "It arises from surrender." "Surrender?" I asked, struggling with the concept. Doesn't surrender imply giving up, abandoning the pursuit of growth? Buddha shook his head, his expression gentle yet firm. "Surrender is not defeat," he said. "It is the acceptance of what is." Through surrender, resistance dissolves, he continued. And in dissolving resistance, resilience is born. It is strength rooted in peace. His paradoxical wisdom left me suspended, caught between doubt and understanding. I inhaled deeply, seeking clarity amid the complexity. "You carry burdens," he said, his voice softening. "Lay them down, not out of defeat, but out of wisdom." "But laying them down feels impossible," I admitted, the weight of my vulnerability undeniable. Buddha remained calm, patient. "The impossible is a construct of the mind," he said. "Release the mind's constructs, and possibility emerges." His statement rippled through me, expanding like a drop in still water. My thoughts shifted, yet remained unsettled. "The self often clings to the impossible," he said. "It seeks what cannot be attained, blinded by illusions of permanence." "How does one see through illusions?" I asked, feeling the enormity of the question. Buddha's face remained serene. "To see through illusions is to perceive clearly," he said. "And clarity arises from detachment, the release of false attachments." "But detachment feels cold," I countered, fearing indifference. Buddha's gaze deepened, his presence unwavering. "Detachment is warmth," he replied. It allows the heart to engage fully, unhindered by fear or possession. His paradoxical words stirred a resonance within me, like a chord struck on an ancient instrument. I remained silent. The journey is not about extinguishing illusions, he continued. It is about seeing through them, embracing the reality beneath. His words felt like an embrace, softening the rigidity of my thoughts. I inhaled deeply, the air rich with clarity. You carry wisdom, he said, his gaze resting on me. But wisdom must be cultivated, nurtured with patience and practice. What cultivation do I need? I asked, my curiosity reignited. Buddha's eyes glimmered, filled with boundless understanding. Compassion, he replied simply. Without compassion, wisdom becomes cold, like fire without warmth. His answer struck a chord within me, echoing through the chambers of my being. Compassion felt both simple and vast, but compassion often feels heavy, I admitted, my vulnerability spilling forth. How does one sustain it? Compassion arises naturally when you perceive unity, he said. Unity is not something to create. It is something to remember. The clouds do not create the sky, he added. They merely obscure it. Unity is the sky, ever present and boundless. The breeze shifted, carrying the scent of blossoms. His words felt like petals falling into my consciousness, delicate yet transformative. The journey ahead is not about addition, he said. It is about subtraction, clearing the space for unity to emerge. But subtraction feels like loss, I admitted, my apprehension visible. Buddha shook his head, his presence unwavering. Loss is not emptiness, he said. It is space, open and infinite, ready to receive what is true. The clearing seemed to expand, the boundaries between us dissolving. I felt neither separate nor entirely the same. The path is within you, he said, rising slowly. Each step you take, you create and discover simultaneously. I rose as well, my body lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. His presence remained, though his figure receded. Thank you, I said, though the words felt inadequate. He turned, offering a final smile, before vanishing into the forest. The sun climbed higher, casting its light over the clearing. Alone again, I felt the silence, but it was transformed. The forest seemed alive, each leaf whispering the echoes of our conversation. My mind swirled, yet my heart stood still. I walked away, each step a paradox of fullness and emptiness. The journey had begun, though it had no end.